It was a crime that took LA by surprise.
This was a real-life horror story.
A Hollywood murder that shocked a city and America.
If you're not safe in your own home, where are you safe?
It was the first time an underground family entered the spotlight. A brutal killer leading his cult.
Death is Charlie's trip.
Charles Manson is the personification of the ultimate evil.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
Charles Manson and his followers struck fear in the hearts of Hollywood elites and ordinary residents of LA. The anarchy they created made them deranged killers. Sharon Tate went to Hollywood with stars in her eyes and dreams in her heart. The stunning beauty started as an extra and model. She moved on in her career, starring in the 1967 horror comedy Dance of the Vampires, directed by Roman Polanski. A romance quickly blossomed.
He was instantly attracted to her spirit, I believe, more so than the package on the outside. She called home and said that she thought that she met the one and that they would be coming back to the United States on the conclusion of the filming and bring Roman to meet us. That was just an instant connection. Like two pieces of a puzzle, they fit together immediately.
They married the following January.
I was actually staying with her at her and Roman's house when she found out that she was pregnant, and she was just beaming.
But as the Polanskis looked forward to starting their family, another family, twisted and sadistic, would make sure Roman and Sharon's dreams were never realized.
Of a living, breathing Hannibal Lecter. It's as though he were a character created in some screenwriter's mind.
Charles Manson and a band of misfits he called his family moved to the Spahn Ranch. They helped owner George Spahn run his riding stable. Manson had the ability to attract many women into his family.
The first two women he met were Susan Atkins, who was a topless go-go dancer, and Mary Bruner, who was a librarian at UC Berkeley.
They followed Charlie, as they called him, from San Francisco to LA. There he met Patricia Krenwinkel and former beauty queen Leslie Van Houten. There were men in Manson's family too, including Tex Watson. Violence was in the air at the ranch.
Tex Watson would teach people that when you stab somebody, you just didn't stab them with an in and out motion. You would stab them and then pull up because you could do more damage.
Charlie had been there when it was rented by record producer Terry Melcher. Manson hoped that this industry contact would help him with his music career.
Apparently Melcher told Manson that he would not produce any albums or anything because the music wasn't that good, and this made Manson mad. So I have always felt that Manson went to the Tate house because he thought Terry Melcher still lived at the house.
On August the 9th, 1969, Roman Polanski was in London. Sharon was at home with some friends, including ex-boyfriend Jay Sebring.
Jay Sebring had a hairdressing salon. He was the hairdresser of the stars.
Also at the Polanskis were coffee heiress Abigail Folger and her boyfriend Wojtek Frykowski. When the Manson family arrived, they cut the phone wires and were about to enter the house when they had an unexpected surprise. A car driving up.
Talk about somebody being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Just 18 years old, Steve Parent was a clean-cut kid. He was visiting the caretaker, William Garretson, who lived in a guest house at the back of the property. As the teenager approached the house, he ran into Tex Watson.
Stephen begged for his life, said, "Please don't hurt me, I won't tell anybody." And Watson shot him 4 times at point-blank range in the upper body.
This was the first death in Charles Manson's master plan that was supposed to lead to race riots and the overthrow of the American way of life. In August 1969, intruders entered the home of actress Sharon Tate and her director husband, Roman Polanski. He was in London, but Sharon was at the house in the Hollywood Hills with 3 friends. These were no ordinary burglars. They were members of a cult led by Charles Manson. In charge of the intruders that night was Tex Watson. Once they were inside, Watson found Wojtek Frykowski sleeping on the sofa.
Watson woke him up and told him that he was the devil there to do the devil's work.
The other occupants of the house were rounded up.
Jay Sebring was a black belt in karate, and he was not taking kindly to this. And he resisted, and Watson shot him to death. At that point, a panic happened.
Abigail Folger and her boyfriend Wojtek Frykowski made a run for it. Abigail got out of the house, but was no match for Patricia Krenwinkel.
Krenwinkel finally caught her in the front yard and started stabbing her.
Wojtek struggled with Susan Atkins, who stabbed him in the legs.
He got to the front lawn. Tex Watson chased him and hit him with the handle of the revolver, and Watson stabbed him.
Now, Sharon Tate was the only one alive.
Poor Sharon begged her for her life, said, "Please let me live so I can have my baby." And Susan Atkins told me, she said, I told her, "Look, bitch, I don't have any mercy on you. You're gonna die."
Watson came over with his rope, a thick rope, wrapped it around her neck, and then tied the other part around Jay Sebring's neck and hung Sharon while she was still alive. Sharon ended up being stabbed 16 times.
Susan Atkins took a towel, dipped it in Sharon's blood, and wrote the word pig on the front door. In the morning, as news of the murders spread, LA was gripped with fear.
Authorities would allow no one in an unofficial capacity inside the posh $200,000 home in the hills overlooking Los Angeles. One of the first officers on the scene, Police Sergeant Stanley Conrad.
Well, at the scene we had one body in a vehicle near the gate, a man and a woman in the main room, and a man and a woman on the lawn in front of the house.
The bodies had been dead about 12 hours. They were discovered this morning by a maid who ran screaming to neighbors.
Los Angeles was a city on edge.
The sales of guns at gun stores had gone way up after the murders.
It terrified the entire country because, you know, if you're not safe in your own home, where are you safe?
Nowhere was the pain more acute than at the homes of the victims' families. Sharon's sister, Deborah, had the somber task of breaking the news to their father.
I just said, "Dad, Sharon's dead." And I heard the phone drop. And he picked it back up and was very solemn, and he said, "Sugar, tell me what you know." Dad got on a plane and was transported down here and dropped off in a military squad car. Mother fell apart completely, and that was the beginning of the fiasco and the end of life as I knew it.
A stunned Roman Polanski returned to Los Angeles, telling reporters what he saw when he got home.
You will see the baby clothes. You will see the room which he was painting. You will see a lot of blood all over the place.
As the police searched for clues, the killers reveled in their success.
Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Leslie Van Houten